Hi everybody, I'm Cameron Goebel, and this is Longtail Gamer, and you are here, way over here. Longtail Gamer is for the games that have stood the test of time. They're still available for you to play, and they're cheap. They're also fully patched, and they have the support of a widespread gaming community. I like gaming on the Longtail because of all these factors. This is the first episode of Longtail Gamer, so I'm going to get it started off right by reviewing my favorite game of all time. Once upon a time it was called Star Control 2, but these days you can find it as Quan Masters. Quan Masters begins after the war between the Quan hierarchy, which wanted to enslave the galaxy, and the Alliance of Free Stars, which wanted to not be enslaved. Unfortunately, the Quan had bigger ships, and lots of them. The Alliance struggled to defend itself, and in the closing years of the war, the Alliance sent a research team out to the fringe of known space to look for help. They found a city left behind by an ancient race, called the Precursors. They discovered the city was really a factory for building starships. There was no way to get home, so the survey team colonized the world and waited for rescue, but nobody came. Now, it's 20 years later, every resource has been spent just to build the skeleton of the Precursor ship, so my job in the game is to captain the ship back to Earth and to use it to assist in the fight against the Quan. So, I navigate through the known galaxy through hyperspace, and there are hundreds of worlds to explore. When I reach a star, I can pilot my Precursor flagship around the system and explore the planets and the moons. Exploring worlds is a fun game inside the bigger game. I drive a little lander ship across the surface, oh, look out, avoiding dangers and gathering resources, and as I explore, I'm looking for three things. Minerals to build up my fleet, a native life that I can capture and trade, and most important to the story, special items that I can collect and use to defeat the Quan. Minerals are vital to keeping my fleet strong. I can spend mineral resources to make my flagship more powerful by adding guns and more crew and faster engines. I can also build support ships to do the fighting for me. The flagship is too important to risk in combat, especially early in the game. It's a big galaxy, as someone once said, and finding my way around it is a big job. I'll admit, I'd be daunted. There would be some dauntage going on there. Fortunately, Quan Masters comes from the days when they used to put cool extra stuff in the box, but even if you don't have an original star map, like mine, there's one built in, and I can even search around it by name. As I explore the galaxy, I encounter strange new life forms and new civilizations. All of them will take the time to chat with me, at least for a little while. I love the different aliens in this game. The creators of the game, Fred Ford and Paul Reiche, I hope I'm saying that right, went all out in making each alien unique and fun in their own way. I mean, we're not just talking your usual hideous green blobs, all slime and tentacles here. Well, I mean, no, admittedly we are, sort of, but there's more. There's the spunky pakunk, the new age avian kooks. They're friends with the humans who have all the nukes. There's the bold brash Thradash, who have many cultures, and the devilish Druge, those cruel corporate vultures. There's the slinky Cyrene, who all look like whores, and the enigmatic extra-dimensional ores. There are so many more, I could go on, and at the heart of it all, you'll face the Quan. I'm sorry about that. I am not generally moved to poetry, but I love Quan Masters, and they have, she writes her own rules. So, in some ways, Quan Masters shares the same headspace as Battlestar Galactica or Babylon 5. There's ancient, powerful enemies kicking everyone around while pursuing their own agendas, and all the little guys are getting caught in between. There's a little bit of Robotech in there too. Maybe not, so much with the giant robots, but hey, a ragtag crew in a super powerful alien battle cruiser on the run from an ancient war-driven civilization? Yeah, it's Robotech. Fortunately, there is no Min-Mei in Quan Masters. Sometimes I need to fight my way out of trouble, and this is where Quan Masters gets more like an arcade game. I pick a ship out of my fleet to go against a ship from the enemy, and now I'm flying my ship around trying to get the drop on my opponent. And when a ship blows up, the next ship in the fleet replaces it. So we fight one ship at a time until one fleet is completely destroyed. There are lots of different kinds of ships, and each one has a tactic that works best for it. As I meet alien races, they'll give me the blueprints to build their own ships. The creativity that went into the diverse weapons impresses me greatly. It's fun to figure out the best way to use a tactic against different kinds of ships. Sometimes the pair of ships are well matched. Sometimes one ship completely overwhelms the other. Sometimes you can pull off some pretty cool moves, like this little Earthling cruiser using the planet as a shield against the Urquan. Yeah! Fancy moves, Flyboy! But then you get a little overconfident and... oops. Got too close. And sometimes you can pull a surprise victory out of your hat, like this little Shofixty ship is totally outclassed against this giant Jamur ship. Run, little Shofixty, run! How can you hope to defeat this enemy? Times like this you have to stop and think, and remember you've got a kamikaze bomb on board. Brave little guy. Fortunately, they're cheap to build. If this arcadey part isn't your gig and you just want to play the adventure, you can turn on a cyborg mode to have the computer fight for you. You still need to build up a fleet, but you can watch the showdown while the computer does its best to beat itself. If you like the combat more than the adventure, there's a super melee mode that's nothing but fleet versus fleet. One of the new features in the re-release is internet play. That's pretty cool for a game from 1992. Quan Masters is enhanced in other ways too. There are new graphic modes that make it look much better on today's high-resolution displays. The most exciting enhancement is the music. You're listening to it right now. A group of musicians from the community calling themselves the Precursors gave their time and talent to make modern remixes of the soundtrack. These improvements are possible mainly because the game is open-sourced. Fred and Paul, the creators of the commercial Star Control 1 and 2 games, have been very generous by releasing their work this way. The game will play on just about every operating system out there, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and of course you can even compile it yourself if you need to. I have a version running on my little Nokia 800 internet tablet. The Quan Masters community is eager to keep the game going and move into new territory. There's a petition for a new Star Control game led by Fred and Paul. They want to make more games, and I think they should be paid to do it. References to Quan Masters still pop up to this day. Stephen Nolte drops them into his webcomic Bob the Angry Flower from time to time, and a few weeks ago I found a comment on the Slashdot website that gave me a kick. So, where do I get this awesome game, you ask? You can download Quan Masters for free. There's a link to the site on the show notes at longtailgamer.com. Visit for more links and other fun Quan Masters goodness. And that's about it for this episode of Longtail Gamer, produced by Noir Chicken Studios and released under a Creative Commons license. This episode was brought to you by the Interstellar Fungi League. Fungi! This has been Cameron Goebel. I am the Longtail Gamer. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to catch up on some episodes of Babylon 5. They just brought this new guy on, Sheridan somebody. Probably just shuffle him off at the end of the season like they did the last guy. Thanks for listening.